everyone, warm welcome to all. On 1st of February, we have a powerful full moon in Cancer at 18 degrees in Ashlesha Nakshatra. This is going to be a deep one. It can bring emotional clarity, but in a very private, personal, and inward manner. Cancer is the home of our feelings, our safety, our memories, and the attachments that we have with life. And Ashlesha takes Cancer even deeper into what is hidden under the surface. Ashlesha is ruled by the Nagas, the serpent who represents the invisible force in our life, things that work beneath the surface rather than in the very obvious manner. Just like a serpent moves silently and strikes with precision, Ashlesha's energy operates through intuition, our emotional intelligence, and with full awareness. See, serpents are not destructive by nature always. They are the guardians of higher knowledge, our emotional truth, and most importantly, the materialistic side of life, the wealth. They can heal us, protect, and also cleanse, but only when approached with respect and yes, with the purity of intention. That's what they get rightly. That's why Ashlesha is such a powerful nakshatra for wealth, for emotional detox, our psychological insight, and karmic release. On the shadow side, if this energy is misused anyways, it can show up as a emotional manipulation, control, fear of loss, or attachment to the power, the materialistic side of life. So here power must be handled with awareness. And with full moon, it's best to release any toxic emotional bonds, our hidden fears, speak truth clearly, and protect our inner emotional space. In essence, Ashlesha's deity reminds us that true strength lies in awareness, not in control. It helps us to know what is real, unspoken, and what we have been holding on to for too long. See, under Ashlesha, emotions are not simple, straight. They become meaningful and revealing also. This full moon can make us suddenly realize why we are attached to something, why a certain pattern repeats in our life, or why a certain relationship matters keep pulling us back into the same emotional loop. And here Ashlesha is Mercury's nakshatra. So the full moon does not just activate our emotions, it activates our mind, our thinking, and the message behind those emotions. It brings a strong need to talk about those emotions, to clarify what you meant by those feelings, and to correct a misunderstanding and speak what we have been silently carrying inside us. In simple words, this is a full moon where feelings want language, words. Our heart wants honest words, but it also reminds us that words carry some energy here. So during this time, best remedy is not to just speak more, but to speak fewer, clearer, and true words. Soon after this full moon, the moon moves opposite Venus and its nakshatra lord, Mercury. So it can feel like emotions are meeting reality very quickly. We can have some results, some clue of this full moon on the very first day. Cancer wants comfort, safety, but Capricorn demands things to be practical, sustainable, and make a mature choice. With Mars in Capricorn also, there is some sudden urge to act. With Venus, it can bring a relationship or some value-based turning point. And with Mercury also there, this full moon brings a message, a decision, or an important conversation for sure. It can bring a moment where we realize that something must be clarified, because staying unclear or confused is creating emotional pressure. So, if there are any intense emotions, don't just react. Here, time demands to recognize what is binding us or draining us, and where we keep adjusting just to keep peace here. Ashlesha carries a very special power. It can bind and unbind also. When balanced energy of Ashlesha works, it creates deep loyalty, emotional intelligence, and strong protection for what matters. And when the energies are imbalanced, it can create some emotional control, guilt, some silent pressure, or staying attached to what no longer feels clear. This is why this full moon is such a reset point just before the solar eclipse. It gives clarity on what is nourishing or what is restricting in our life. Now, another important point here is, apart from the 1st of February, on the full moon day, moon is making connection with Mercury, its Nakshatra lord, only on 11th of February. When moon crosses Scorpio Gandanta and moves through Jyeshtha Nakshatra, which is also ruled by Mercury. So this becomes the second chapter of the same story, as even Jyeshtha falls under Gandant Nakshatra. If 1st of February reveals the emotional note, 11th February shows us that where that note connects to the deeper truth, trust and release of our emotions. This Scorpio Gandanta can feel intense because it brings emotions to a karmic age where we cannot pretend anymore. It may bring a final realization, a boundary, or a closure moment. Something that was confusing earlier can suddenly become obvious now, very clear. Or something we were avoiding can demand our honesty. So between 1st and the 11th of February, we may experience a meaningful progression. First the awareness, then clarity, and then a deeper emotional decision. It can be a very private shift, very personal shift, but it can be a powerful one. And it is best to pause before responding emotionally here. Also, we have solar eclipse soon after this, and Mercury going retrograde towards the end of the month. So give space to your feelings and let the words become little calm. Choose one emotional pattern to observe and correct it, just one. A habit, a person, our repeated fear, or our repeated expectations also. Communicate with clarity here, not with intensity, not to win any battle, but to cleanse and release any emotional fog that we have been carrying. This full moon in Ashlesha can help us to purify our emotional space, release any unhealthy bonds, can bring clarity in our communication, and we can return to our self-respect within our relationships or even our decisions about all this. And all this will prepare us to face the reset of the Aquarius solar eclipse. Let us see the personal impact of this full moon for each sign, and do check Cancer and Capricorn sign the most, and also both the Mercury ruled sign, that is Gemini and Virgo, for the impact. Do keep in mind that this full moon or any full moon always turns the lights on. In Ashlesha, this light falls on our hidden emotions, our emotional side, unconscious attachments, or any invisible strings behind our decisions. Why we are making that decisions will be clear around this time. Watch for all these at this time for the impact. Start with Aries. For Aries, this full moon lights up your home, also your work-life balance in a very direct manner. One side of you wants comfort, rest, and emotional safety, while the other side feels the pressure to stay strong, responsible, and productive all the time, just like Mars. You may feel pulled between the family needs and also your career expectations. This is the best time to choose calm over control. Speak less, but speak clearly, confidently. If something feels little emotionally sticky, this is the time to step back, breathe, and respond only when you feel little steady. Taurus. This full moon highlights your words, your mindset, and emotional tone behind any conversations. Something that you have been holding back may want to come out now, but it needs a clear expression. You may also feel pulled between staying in your familiar comfort zone and taking a more disciplined step forward toward growth. It is best time to have some honest communication without any emotional pressure. Write first and then speak. That would be helping you the most. If you feel little uncertain, give yourself one full day before making the final decision and that important conversation. Gemini. This full moon activates change in your self-worth, your family, finances, and your emotional security. This may notice where you feel emotionally dependent or where you have been overgiving to feel safe here. Your responsibilities around your family finances, your commitments, or boundaries may demand maturity. It is best to simplify everything, reduce your emotional spending, over explaining yourself every time, and choose some steady, disciplined routine. What you need is clarity around what you value in life and what you no longer pay for, and that is emotionally first. Cancer. This full moon impacts you the most. It can bring a strong emotional peak, clarity about a relationship, a pattern in your life, or a personal identity shift. You may feel more sensitive than usual and you might sense things others are not saying. Your intuition is very active. This time demands you to be clear with others' expectations and your commitments. This is the time when you need to protect your emotional space without becoming defensive for sure. Don't test people, don't hold any silent pressure. Just state what you need simply and kindly, gently. If you must detach, do it with dignity for sure. Leo. This full moon moves through your inner world and can bring emotional detox. Old memories, old feelings, or some hidden stress can rise up, especially if you have been pushing through for too long. Your daily responsibilities, health, routine matters demand structure and discipline. This is the best time to rest your nervous system. Sleep, hydration, and quiet time will help you regain clarity in life. But do avoid reacting to small triggers. This is a cleanup moon for you. Release what you have been carrying silently inside. Virgo. This full moon activates your friendships, network, your desires, and your long term hopes. You may suddenly see who truly supports you and who creates emotional confusion in your life. There is also a push and pull between enjoying life and being responsible with time, love matters, or any creativity. This is the best time to be selective in life. Don't over explain your boundaries. Choose quality connections and not emotional bargaining in life. If you feel misunderstood, pause and allow clarity to reveal itself rather than forcing it. Libra, this full moon highlights a strong tension between your career direction and your personal life. You may feel emotionally sensitive about recognition, respect, or being valued, while the other side pulls you toward your home, family, and your private emotional needs. This is not the time to control the outcomes, the results. This is the time to focus on what can be done with clarity. One practical step, one honest conversation, and setting one boundary will help you the most. Keep your actions calm and your emotions nourished here. Don't make any big decisions in the middle of an emotional wave, but on the ground of practicality. Scorpio, this full moon brings a deep change in your beliefs, your perspectives, and the emotional truth will be revealed here. You can see things differently now about faith, about direction in life, education, travel, or a personal path that you have been considering so far. This time demands for better communication, clearer planning, and more discipline in how you speak and decide for your life. And the best way to do that is by trusting your intuition but verifying the facts first. Avoid your obsessive thinking. If something feels emotionally intense, don't just dig more. Choose peace and let clarity come naturally here. Sagittarius, this full moon activates and changes your family emotions, trust, and the attachment pattern. It can highlight where you feel vulnerable, where you fear loss, and where you hold your emotional power too tightly. This is the best time to stabilize your self worth, your personal finances, and your escaping energy. Keep your emotional world private, protected. Don't force closeness and let the trust grow naturally here. And the key here is to let go of emotional dependency and choosing your self respect first. Capricorn, you are strongly impacted because this full moon sits directly opposite your sign. You may feel emotionally confronted by relationships, your emotional expectations, or the need of others in life. Your natural style is to stay composed, and this time demands you to soften without losing your strength. Don't just be quiet, but be honest about what you feel, even if it is little uncomfortable. Don't carry everything alone and don't respond with cold distance also. That's your nature. One sincere conversation can heal a lot more than big long explanations for sure. Aquarius, this full moon highlights your health, your daily rhythm, your workload, and emotional stress stored in your body. You may realize that your schedule is not matching with your well being. This time demands you to reconnect with rest, little solitude, and emotional recovery by reflecting on your past. Handle this time with proper work style. Clean your home, your mind, bring discipline in your routine basically. This is the best time to reduce your stress, overthinking, and don't keep pushing yourself. This full moon is showing you where you need a healthier structure and disciplined life. Pisces. This full moon brings emotional clarity in your love life, in your creativity, the way you have joy in life, and what truly makes you feel alive. It can also reveal your hidden emotional attachments where you are trying to be loved through sacrifice or by overgiving at times. This is the time to be more intentional with friendships, your social circle, and also your future goals. Handle this time by choosing emotional honesty over emotional performances. If something doesn't feel clear, step back gently. This is the time to be creative, enhance your skill, and allow the real joy to return in your life. That was all about the impact on all the signs. And to summarize, this Cancer full moon in Ashlesha Nakshatra is a moment of emotional truth and purification. It doesn't demand to be harsh like a snake bite. It asks us to be honest, clear. It reminds us that not every bond is meant to be kept, and not every feeling is meant to be acted on instantly. Some feelings are simply meant to be understood, released, and transformed into clarity. This is the time to move with softness but also with clear boundaries. Speak less but truthfully and protect your peace of mind. When we handle Ashlesha's energy with maturity, it becomes powerful gift. Our intuition sharpens with clarity in our emotions. We feel lighter and prepared as we move forward toward the solar eclipse coming up. That was all about this full moon in Cancer, Ashlesha Nakshatra. I hope this was helpful. Best wishes to everyone. Thank you for your time. Do share your experience in the comments and stay tuned for the next transit update. Thank you.